That was really clever. Got the wrong person up there. Hello, David. Far out. Sorry.
There.
I haven't had time to do it all, so I didn't get a chance to check that. Anyway, we apologise. Hello, Andrew. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Who is not David Starr? I can be forgiven at the moment. Oh, dear Lord. So, hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to all those who will watch the replay later. This is Beyond the Stars, UFO, Extraterrestrial Life, Galactic Beings, and Spiritual Experiences. So what this podcast is about is the opportunity for people to come in and sightings with UFOs, contact, so even right down to abductees. And because of the fact that some people will come in and may share that they've been through that experience, I want people to know that it is a non-judgmental podcast. So whatever people share, I want you to know that it may be slightly sensitive to some. Not everyone goes through these type of experiences and it's positive for them. So we always open this podcast in that way to let you know that we understand that, and if there's a sensitive topic or a sensitive story, then we want you to know that that may happen. And also, but there's lots of positive experiences that will happen with a lot of people. So the reason I put it in the context of UFO to spiritual experiences is mainly because it really does cover many sorts of things. So with UFOs, or I like to call them star people experiences, because it's a little bit nicer. Sometimes UFO is a bit of a negative connotation, so I try and soften it a little bit. Is the UFO side of it, again, is because a lot of people have a lot of very physical very physical experiences. Some people have had UFOs come around, above. Some have been on vessels and ships and had contact with star people, UFO, and things like that. And other people have had it in many other ways. So it can come and happen for those people who have had near-death experiences. So that's the spiritual side of it, or meditation, or OBE, which is, for those that don't know, is out-of-body experiences. And OBE, I won't touch on now, but I will eventually talk about that, is the conscious control of hopping out of your body and experiencing things beyond where we are right now. So that's why I've sort of elaborated and stretched on a little bit, because I think everyone that comes in is going to give their story or their experiences and share those in many different topics. So thank you, Andrew, for coming. And it is nice to see you. Now, Andrew is like myself. He's in Australia. He's in an area called Melbourne, Victoria. I won't give the suburb. I don't want people coming and knocking on your door and spying on you. No, I'm kidding. And I do know that there's everywhere in Australia, of course, and everywhere in the world, there's many things that happen for people. But I do know that Melbourne, a bit like where we are, where we come through the mountain ranges, we have a lot of unusual things happening. So that can be sightings, flashing lights, like I said, having physical contact with unknown beings to some people. So now Melbourne's quite a big area, correct? Like it's a city.
It's a small state, but it's a big city. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where I live particularly, it's an outer suburb of Melbourne.
Yes.
So you get Melbourne City, it's probably about 30 to 40 kilometres outside. And I've heard, over the years, I heard that it's a highway where I live for these activities to take place. So there's been a lot of sightings around a few suburbs across, as well as my suburb and what have you.
Okay.
So,
are you near a mountain range area? Because I do find that I'm in Queensland. I find that there, as I said on the last couple of podcasts, they seem to be tracing through some of the, even right through the Blue Mountains, but coming all the way up to where I'm in Queensland, following the mountain ranges a little bit, not always, but quite often. So,
where I live, there's not far away, so probably another 10 kilometres away. There's a HMAS base.
A bit like where I am. I've got the same military base. Okay,
military base. Right. And our suburb where I live, many years ago, back in the early 1900s or late 1800s, there was an actual meteorite that hit the area. And it used to be known for the Cranbourne area. It used to be known as the meteorite town because it
that's cool.
Something hit the earth and that kind of thing. So I think a lot of things play a role in the activity around here. So,
no wonder I asked you. I'm like, there's got to be something that happens in Melbourne that's a little bit different to what we get here. So is it probably a little bit like a previous guest where she's in a magnetic rock area through there? So I wonder if there's any of that sort of stuff near you, because the funny thing is they're drawn to many different parts of the world for many reasons, which we won't go into those rabbit holes here, might in the future. But I do find that it's either magnetic rock, water, ocean, like me, they run across the waters. Other areas, of course, they go into many unusual areas, but a lot of military base, so don't shut us down, Facebook, but a lot of military areas do seem to draw some sort of activity. I'm the same, and eventually when I talk a little bit about what I've gone through, is that not far from me, which is in our town, out in the forestry, there's a military area base where the whole world comes, except for the ones that are naughty, aren't allowed here, but they do everything here. So not surprised, you know what I mean? Not surprised at all. So if you'd like to, now you can go as far out of the box as you want to. There's no rules here. So if you've been anyone that has had physical contact or been taken physically to experience something, whether it's here in your home or off into a vessel or anything like that, please do. Don't be afraid, because like I said, anyone that has been watching this and been coming in, they've had their own experiences, so they kind of understand. And anyone that watches the replay, I'm sure will be coming in under some sort of interest or have had that themselves. So there's no judgment or worry here about that. So can you maybe begin with You could probably even start a little bit with your spiritual side of it.
Okay.
Did any
So,
of this sort of stuff bring that in for you? Is that how all this started? So if you want to
so
go from day dot. Yep.
before I actually started on the spiritual journey, probably when I was a child, I was able to see. I saw one of my guides one night appearing through my wardrobe.
Okay.
So that sort
Yep.
of
So you did physical.
spiritual experience happened when I was younger.
Yep.
Always been a bit sensitive to people's energy because
Yep.
I couldn't explain the reason why I felt angry or sad or, or excited for no reason. So when I was early on in my younger years, even as a child, I was very sensitive to other people's emotions and energy.
Yep.
Fast forward to probably my early 20s, I had always had a fascination with the cosmos. So I would watch documentaries on the universe, the
Yep.
planets, spend hours and hours watching it, you know, and I'll buy
Yeah.
DVDs and watch it,
I
you
was
know.
the same. Just
Yeah.
mad for it. Yeah. Yeah. Didn't
Um,
understand why, correct? Like
yeah.
not an
Just the
idea of why, the
curiosity.
fascination. Yeah.
Yeah. And then probably I got into UFOs. So in my early 20s, I started to watch abduction movies. And I shouldn't watch that because that's what I saw, what I experienced.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that, but that's not to
Okay.
discredit anyone that's been through that.
No, not
Um,
at all. Mm.
but I'll be watching, because I had the fascination, so I'll be watching, things about UFOs, how they come and abduct people,
Yep.
those types of Roswell.
Yep.
And the history of of sightings and just documentaries on that kind of stuff. So my fascination's
Yeah.
always been there, but I didn't know why. It was somewhere I was
Right.
drawn to, and it
Yeah.
probably wasn't until my 30s I started to have some sort of experiences. So I would what I know from my experiences now is that for me it started off as a visual in the night sky. When I say
Yep.
visual in the night sky, it's like they've sort of kept their distance because I think they didn't want to shock me or shock the system or just
No.
slowly
No.
introduce
That's
themselves
true.
over a period of
Yep.
time. So
Yep.
I would see like it looks like a star in the night sky, but they'll be moving across,
Yep.
or they'll be flashing a little bit like a
Yep.
bright flash, then they'll dim, bright flash, and they'll dim. So it's like a signal, or they'll
Yep.
be traveling across, and I'll be like, oh, maybe that's a satellite that's going
Yeah.
past,
Righto.
but I'll
Yep.
see multiple ones at the same time
Okay.
coming through.
Right.
So for my experiences, they start off at a distance to show you that okay, there's something there, something out there.
Right. Okay.
And I
So
think, yep,
and did they some people experience, and I have as well, but sometimes you can sort of make out a shape, or sometimes they'll throw, and people go flashing lights. Well,
yeah,
UFOs don't really have flashing lights. It's a plasma energy, right? So
yeah,
it's frequency. So what happens a lot of time is quite often it'll be a very, very icy white flash, or
yeah,
it can be a unusual shade of color. So whether it's blues, reds, it'll be different, and you can often quite, and that's probably why we see them flicker, is that as they seem to either move around or shift in and out of where they are. I'm trying not to go too weird. I'll let you do that. Dimensions, but they seem to flash, right? And then that seems to pulse up or give some sort of like energy or something
yeah.
that drives that, right? Because
Yeah.
quite often myself, I've seen them flash and then wham, they're gone. So it's some sort of propulsion. So did you think you saw something that might have been a little bit like that, or?
I did. I'll give you an example. One time I had my partner's brother stay over with us for a period of time. This is
Yep.
going back about 4 or 5 years ago.
Yep.
And it would have been about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. We were up having a cup of coffee and we went outside, we sat down
Yep.
on our backyard. And
Yep.
where the moon was, there was a few stars. And then all of a sudden we just saw this star move up and it sort of stopped, but then it
Yep.
pulsated, was really bright,
Okay.
and then went dim,
Yep.
moved up a
Yep.
little bit more, did it again,
Did it
went really
again.
dim, and it
Yeah.
just
Right.
disappeared. And I remember him saying
Right.
to me, "What the hell was that?" I'm like, "I told you you're going
Yeah.
to see things when you stay here."
Yeah. Yeah. It's
So
like you come here, it's gonna get weird. Yeah, like
and
my house. Okay.
sometimes something like that happens, but there's been instances where something similar's happened as I've gone past, and they've flashed the light. What I say light is their light, and it's affected my third eye, or it's sent energy or implanted something into my third eye, like a plasma or something like that. Because I'm not really familiar with the technology.
Did you feel that though? Because I remember when I had mine, which I said I'll eventually talk about, I felt so much. It wasn't even an electricity. I felt such an electrical energy of some sort, really full on, that it almost made me feel like I lit up inside. So it was kind of like a child on an immense amount of sugar, but I could feel it running up my feet. Did you get anything like that? Like I feel like come up my body?
Not at that stage, but when I saw those in the sky, I just remember the energy around the third eye, and I remember closing my eyes, I could still see the.
I got the same.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
But I didn't feel the energy around my feet at that stage, or energy going through my body. I just felt it mainly constricting the third eye. Maybe it's work that
something happening
down there. Yeah. I'm just.
And did you get any communication? Like, sorry, did you feel like perhaps they were trying to speak or communicate? Because a lot of them use telepathy.
Yeah, there was one that I remember lying in bed, and I was looking outside my window, and there's a craft that went past, but you couldn't see the definition of the craft. You just see the light, and it's pretty close. I mean, it was like, the power lines that run through the state of the states. It was probably that low, and I just saw the light going past, like zoom past. And I remember that when that happened, in my mind's eye, I saw the Inca pyramids that they're in Peru and all that. I saw that with blue squiggles going down the stairways, like a blue.
Wow.
And like they showed me that, and I saw hands going up like that. So it was like they're welcoming. It's like a group or civilization welcoming the star beings up the pyramid. So they showed me that, and I remember drawing that. So the good usually when these experiences happen to me, I don't have a camera, and I think
that's the bit that really shits you, right? Excuse my language, but it always happens so fast. That's the worst part of it. But anyway,
and I think that they choose their timing well. But I'll actually draw what I saw, what they showed me in that experience when I was lying down in bed. So I'll just show you. I'm not sure if people can see this properly. So but that's the Inca pyramids, and those squiggly lines there is the will be blue. Yeah, and I just saw hands going up. So they showed me that, and I didn't draw it, but it was like something was there, but I couldn't make it out. But it was like they were, it's like they were showing me that, like that's where they landed, or that's where they
are. Yeah. Their main contact area.
That's back on the 12th. Believe it or not, that was actually back on the 12th of the 12th, 2021.
Oh, you're kidding? Okay.
Yeah.
Funny that.
Or something.
Must have been an activation or an energy, for those that don't understand, portal energy that's activated that day for a reason. Machu Picchu. Yeah. Well, I have a friend who went there 6 months or something ago, and I did a reading for her, and she mentioned that area, and we had a look, and I explained to her what I was seeing, that it was a portal, and there was I don't think it was a Stargate. I don't know if there's a main Stargate there, I can't remember. And I said to her, there's an energy to this area, to the blah blah blah, to the right, and she said yes, that has been, other people have seen that. So there's something, if it's Machu Picchu, is that how you say it? Machu, how do you say it?
I think
correct. Machu Picchu, correct, girl. Yeah. So I wonder, did you have an idea who they might have been at that time, or did you ever go back and have a look?
No, because
those that don't know, Andrew is a channel, so that's why I'm asking him that question. So did you ever get a chance to go back and investigate that, or?
No, it just flashed. And you know how when something flashes to you, it only lasts for a few seconds, and you get so much details from it. It was like that. So I didn't. I didn't get a chance to. I shouldn't say I didn't get a chance, but I didn't know how to get more information from them.
At the time,
because I'm still developing, I'm still learning.
Yeah, true. That's right. Okay. Oh wow! All right.
But that's just one experience. But there's been many other experiences. I'm just trying to pinpoint more situations for you that have occurred.
Yeah. What about, I know there was a big sighting in Melbourne at some stage, right? There was that big, you know, the massive one that happened over in the US somewhere. Well, I can't remember what that was called at the moment, but there was something similar like that.
I think that's it wasn't Florida, it was Houston lights or something like that. When they had the big
Phoenix lights. I know it'll come
yeah.
to me. Phoenix lights, and that was humongous. You could not deny what that was. But didn't something happen in Melbourne that was similar to that? Not the Phoenix one, but there was an unusual, quite a large craft that came through there or something.
I think there was one. There was one back in 1950s. That was back in Bristol. There was school students that
I remember.
that were outside, and they witnessed the craft come down and land.
That's right. I remember
and
now.
there's been a few shits in the what we call Narre Warren, which is the suburb, a few suburbs across from here. There's been a few sightings around that paddocks area. Because back then, all this land that used to be like farmland, paddocks, and it was all,
that's right. It was too. Yeah, I saw that. I watched that video. Yeah.
More urbanised.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, for people don't know, they had these. It was a school. They had this metal fence, and these little kids are outside playing, just doing the normal things when you're at school. Quick story. And they had a craft that huge it was, came down, and the kids ran off to go and investigate it. It was sort of just behind the other side of the fence. They ran down the track to where the trees and that were. And yeah, lo and behold, the teachers saw it as well. So there's about 50 kids or something. It wasn't just one or two children, and they're all outside and everybody witnessed it. So yeah, that was a big event for Australia. So, but there's been other things, correct? If you'd like to share, do you know where I'm going? Yeah.
I just
lead you in.
Yeah, I will. But for me, the sightings usually start, or the intrigue or what you witness, for me, has been from a distance. So they show themselves like a star going past, and then they'll show the light, like they'll flash like pulsating light, or you'll see movement, and it'll be quick, and it won't be like a satellite.
No, it's too fast.
It's too fast, or there'll be multiple lights going through. So for me, my experiences have been from a distance, and then eventually it got closer and closer and closer and closer.
Not true. Okay.
And there's been different types of sightings as well. So not just that, but they what you probably know is the holographic stuff they send.
Yes.
So I've witnessed a few holographic. Not holographic. It's like they projected an image of a ship or a craft, and they'll project it going past your house or going above and out. Then they disappear. They look holographic in nature, so they look like so solid. And I've actually drawn a few more examples of what I've seen, what I witnessed.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, I think they pick a time when you don't have a camera with you, or they go too fast, and it's impossible for you to take an image of them. And
I reckon they do it. I reckon my lot do it on purpose because I think it's funny. They're like, let's traverse past Marantha's house, and we won't give her time to think. Oh dear Lord! As I said, I will share that soon.
There was one image. I think after I spoke to you, or when we had a catch up back in 2021, they said, when we connected with the Octorians, they wanted to change frequencies, that kind of stuff. And then go outside at 8 o'clock. We'll be there. So when I went outside at 8 o'clock, I couldn't see anything. I'm still there for about 5-10 minutes, and all of a sudden, just saw this craft that it just glided past my house. So it would have been as high as probably about 20 meters above my house. But it was a holographic image, so it was an image that they projected in the sky, and then they
just so you could see what it was. Okay, and it was very big. Like, how big are we talking? Like, you'd have an idea of how big?
Wouldn't be huge. It'd probably be the same. Probably half the size of my house.
Okay, yeah.
So half the size of a normal house is probably that size. It's hard because
go on. Yeah.
Sometimes when they're up high, it's hard to get a clear image of
it is. Yeah, you don't know what the distance. Yeah.
Yeah, but I remember drawing.
Go on. I always wonder when they do that, if they do when they send a holographic image, whether it's of themselves or a ship or whatever they want to do. Sometimes it's solid, other times it's like this. I always wonder that they're, God knows how far away from us. It could be, past out the edge of the universe for all we know.
Yep.
And then the ship itself, that they're the craft themselves, is ginormous. Like for those that don't know, motherships, which is bigger than planets sometimes, or traveling vessels, or someone traveling light and things like that, or Merkabahs. But sometimes I wonder that the image they send is that they're sending it from wherever they are, but where they are, they're so far away that ship is absolutely probably 1,000 times of what we're seeing. You know what I mean? So yeah, interesting. Go on.
Okay. But that's the craft that glided past my house. So it was dark in nature.
Oh, triangle.
Triangular shape, and the lights. These were lights. So I saw underneath the craft, or the holographic craft. Yeah. It had amber and gold glow to the lights.
Oh, okay.
And it was dim. So it wasn't. When I say dim, it was like a holographic image. It wasn't vivid.
It wasn't as vivid as you would normally see it. But yeah.
And that was That was on the 27th of the 11th, 2021.
That's right. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, the lady is just saying there's been many sightings in Mexico lately, has there? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. There's a lot going on over there.
Well, because of the pyramids, I've got a feeling that because of the pyramids or the energy.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, those triangular ones, they're not uncommon at all. A lot of people have seen those massive triangular shaped ones, and they have the 3 lights underneath, bright as bright. They seem to be quite common here in Australia, I must say. Most people I've spoken to mention the triangulars, or the rounds, but mostly the triangulars or the lengthy ones, depending on who they are. So yeah, I have heard of those before. That's not new to me. So wow. And did you get anything from that? Did you feel anything from that, or
I just felt the excitement, the adrenaline, because you just see
adrenaline,
unexpected. But yeah, when you start building that connection with them, or when you start having that connection with them, they seem to get closer and closer to your let's say your life, but your own space. And I think my experience is that they just want to show you that they're there, and that they can hear you, or they can recognize you, or see you. You know what I mean?
That's right.
One of the profound experiences I ever had was one night when I was asleep. So I fell asleep one night. It's during the weeknight. Fell asleep in my room with my partner and stuff, in bed, and just normal sleep. And in my dream, I was floating. It was like I was on a platform, like a metallic platform. And I was just standing there, and I'm looking out of this massive glass, or it looked like there was no glass, but it must have been some sort of glass. That
must have been something,
But I remember I was standing on the platform. I was enclosed, and I was moving towards what I thought was Jupiter. But it was hot. It was swirling. It could have been the sun, but I perceived it as Jupiter. But I saw this massive planet in front of me, and it was swirling with these clouds. It was like fire and heat, and it was just all swirling around.
Wow.
And I remember as I was looking at it, I said, I remember saying to myself, that's good, that's absolutely beautiful. And as I'm saying that, I'm moving closer and closer to it in this platform. And I'm like, because I was so mesmerized by it. I was getting closer and closer. Then there was a voice behind me in my dream. Said, don't get too close, it's too hot for you.
Okay.
And
so you're moving somewhere. Do you think you're on a ship at that stage, or you think they were just transporting?
I think I was on a ship. This is the funny bit, because there's more to the story. But it felt like I was safe. Around me was safe. Like I wasn't focused on that. It was like they were showing me a planet.
Okay.
They wanted me to admire and see. This is like something that's so vivid to me, because I remember it so clearly. I could have been on a ship. I think I was. So I didn't really pay attention to what was around me, just what was in front of me. And I remember floating. I was on like a pedestal or a platform.
Right. Some sort of platform.
Yeah. I remember that.
Did you have an idea who you were talking? Sorry, do you have an idea who you were talking to though? Like, could you feel or get a sense of what was there with you? Or
it was telepathic. So the
okay,
voice behind me, I heard it from behind.
right.
I remember, like I said, I remember them saying, you know, don't get too close; it's too hot for you. I remember that clearly, saying that, because I was actually going, as I was looking at the planet more and more, and I was going further in, I was getting closer and closer to it. I was getting, you know what I mean? I was moving towards it as I'm admiring it more. Yeah. And I remember after that voice said that that phase to me, I woke up. And I remember, I'm like, I woke up from my sleep. This would have been about, I think about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, wow, that was some dream.
That was real.
And back then I was a bit of a smoker, so cigarettes, you know, and I went outside. And, it woke me up, so I went outside, had a cigarette.
Any excuse for a faggy, so I sort of like, well, that sounds a little bit to me like more than astral dreaming. It sounds to me like you've actually physically, like an out-of-body experience, OBE, popped out physically and you were conscious.
Yeah,
because that's different. There's not so much dreaming. Yeah,
and it actually continues. So,
oh gosh, okay, yep, go on.
So I had that dream. I woke up from it. What I thought was a dream. I woke up from it. I'm like, that's some vivid stuff.
That's out there. Yep.
Beautiful experience.
Yeah, for sure.
I remember I was fully naked because it was during spring, summer. I was fully naked. I went outside.
We didn't need to know that, but thanks anyway. Lucky we're friends.
And I remember the night sky was beautiful. It was clear. There was no clouds. I can see the stars, the small twinkle of the stars. And I remember finishing having a cigarette, and I sort of looked up, and I just saw what I saw was close to my house, like close to the picture of my house. Just this giant mass. So when I say mass, I couldn't see the ending of it.
Jesus.
So in my peripheral vision, I looked up, couldn't see the end, but I just saw this mass, and it was dark as the night sky. That's the way I can describe it. And I knew it was some sort of mass because when I looked up, as it was going past me, it started to block out the stars. So it was
real.
For real. So I'm like,
so it's solid this time. Solid object.
And I'm like, inside I wasn't trembling, but I was in awe.
Just like,
but I was in shock, a little bit in shock because I wasn't.
Yeah, you would have been. No,
so
not at all.
I looked up. I'm looking up, and there's this mass that comes gliding past, and it was that quiet. You couldn't hear anything. It was a pin drop. You couldn't hear 1 ounce of it. No wind, no sound, no creaking, nothing. It was just. I'm like, I'm having an experience right here. This must be connected.
This is happening. This is real. Really solid, real there.
And when slowly went past my house. I remember how slow it went. It just went slowly past my house. And as I'm looking into the distance, I still can't see the edge of it. I
still can't see the edge of it. How big was this thing? My God.
It must have been big, but I think it was that blended into the night sky that you wouldn't see. That you can't see. You
couldn't tell.
You couldn't tell.
Oh, wow. That must have been huge.
And I remember as it passed my home, there was these 3 orbs of light. So it would have been, it's like a yellow, white orbs of light, amber orbs of light. And they're just underneath the craft, and they're just spinning, like in different directions, going around underneath the craft.
That would literally just blow your mind in that moment. Like, you would literally just stand frozen, right? You would have been frozen on the spot.
I didn't know what to think. I didn't know how to respond. I just stared at it and watched it. And it was going past my house to the next house and the next house. And then I just saw these orbs going underneath, spinning around in different directions.
That's mind-blowing. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it disappeared. So I didn't see it. The orb stopped. And
everything was
like it blended into the sky. And I'm about a minute later, I'm still standing there looking at the direction I went into. Then 2 minutes probably passed, and then all of a sudden, further in the distance and where the stars were, I just saw this massive. It would have been like a shooting star, but it was like, you know how we see if you watch Star Wars.
Yeah.
When something moves that fast, it leaves that trail of light.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like that, but it was going upwards. So it wasn't
Up.
descending. It wasn't descending.
Okay. Yeah.
It wasn't going sideways. It was just. It didn't go straight up. It went like on an angle up. But so it was like a shooting star that went, and the tail of it went with it, and it just, and I'm like, oh my
What
god,
the hell was that?
that just left. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right. Okay. It left its light behind. I think.
Yeah, and after, I think after this, I'm so passionate about this because it's an experience that I'll never forget in my life.
No, you won't forget that ever. That's something you just cannot ever forget.
And when I remember over the months and years, what it felt like, it was like a bit similar to an out of body experience. So I think they were able to they took me on board, not my physicality, not my body.
No.
But they took part of my consciousness or part of me with them, and they had me on this platform to hold the energy or hold my
soul,
my soul. And they'll show me a planet or show me the sun, whatever it might have been. They'll show me which planet it was. Like I said, I don't know if it was stupid. I got the impression it was Jupiter. This is what I was getting in my mind. But
you'd be right then if that's what you thought it was.
But that to me was then I realised, okay, well, I have to stop thinking about being taken physically, because that wasn't the case. Because there's no way within a split second I was able to go back into my body, unless or my body be back home, unless they've taken a part of my consciousness with them and they showed me.
See, I know you said you were asleep when you felt that happen, but I'm wondering if everything that you're talking about, you were actually outside and it's all happened in that moment, and you thought you were asleep. You know, most people's perceptions of something they don't understand, or it's the first time it's happened, they're not sure. So the brain sometimes will say, "Oh, I think I'm asleep," or "I'm this and that," but they're actually. Many times people have said that when they've had those experiences, like they've thought they're asleep or something else, they come back and they realize that when it's finished, they're actually standing outside. They were outside the whole time. I've heard enough stories that people will have that happen, and they go, "I wasn't in my bed. I was definitely outside. I realized in the end it wasn't what I thought.
Okay.
I was actually physically there in the moment. I wasn't asleep." You know what I mean?
So, that was an experience and a half. But
I would have been like, "Don't put me back. Don't take me back. I'll be packing bags and shoes and all my favourite bits. I'll be like a little kid, like, come and get me. We're gone." So
I remember after that, it would have been about 5 minutes later, I woke up my partner. So this is the experience that I had. And my heart space started warming up, and I was getting I felt the love coming from them.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you must have known them at some stage. Although for those that don't understand, we're some of us are not actually fully human. Yeah, it's going to sound weird. We don't care. We know different. We know who we are. They must have been family for you to feel that love, because they would have been, that feeling of being missed so much with that so much love. You can't deny that. You know what I mean? So I believe you is what I'm saying. Yeah.
I had probably another one or two experiences. Had one experience after that that I sort of woke up to with a close in contact, and the rest have been more sightings, mainly.
Are they? Yeah.
Massive ships in the sky. But it would have been. I think this was last year. Probably about the same time last year, or a few months before. Probably about February last year. I was falling asleep, and I was sort of, when you're in that state of falling asleep but awake still, and you sort of, I was falling asleep, and I was in my bed, and I sort of woke up, and I sort of went up, and in my doorway I had this being, I believe it was Octorian, standing in my doorway, but further in, like more towards inside the room, and was sort of looking not at me, but sort of looking on the side.
Yeah. What did he look like to you? What did he look like at the time?
So the colours were phenomenal. So for me, it was
not
like a normal, like when we look around, we see colour, lights and shades, and we see things normal, like 3-dimensional stuff.
Yeah, it's quite dull. Quite dull colour. Yeah.
When I saw this being, it was like his figure, or what I saw was more the best way to describe it is electric. It's like a technicolor type of, more vibrant, more vivid.
Wow.
So typical almond-shaped head.
Yep.
A bluish grey hued skin.
Yep.
I thought that he was wearing goggles around the eyes, like space goggles, because to me it looked like goggles, but that could have been his eyes. I don't know.
Yeah, it could have been the distortion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It was
Like
very
tall? Was he tall?
probably,
Like really
probably
tall?
about 5'4", probably about a little bit shorter than me. So 5'4",
Okay.
5'3", 5'2".
Yep.
I remember he was wearing a coat. It was like I call it a space suit, but it wasn't a space suit. It was like a high collar. It wasn't like high like that, but it was just like
Yep.
up like
Up.
that.
All the way up. Yep.
And it was long, so it probably went down to his
Okay.
probably down to the knees or ankles. So it
Yep.
was long, but it was like a
Okay.
silver color. It was like a silver metallic color.
Wow.
And I remember the one thing that got to me, one thing that I picked up on was, I'm not sure about all this stuff, but he could have been inside his Merkaba, or because there was like a sparkle of light whizzing around his body, so from his head down to his feet.
Oh, true.
But it wasn't like it wasn't
Sounds like
light. It was just like a faint
Yep.
sparkle, like it was spinning around. Like
Yeah,
he,
gotcha. So he's in something, standing in something. Yeah.
And I remember sort of crouching up, looking at him or her. So I don't know if it's male or female. Looking at him or her, and I'm like, "Am I seeing this?" And I remember rubbing my eyes and making sure I'm sort of not asleep.
It's not a dream. Yeah, exactly.
And I looked at it and I'm like, okay. I just remember saying, okay, well, okay. I went back to sleep and I went, put my head down and I went to sleep.
Right. Okay.
So I'm not sure if it was the energy around that was that strong that I wasn't panicking. I wasn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wasn't panicking. I wasn't
No,
scared.
no.
Like it almost felt familiar in my subconscious mind. It was familiar. And I was like, okay, well, back to bed now. It's you or something like that. You know what I mean? I remember sort of thinking that. And I was going back to sleep. But the colour, when I saw the being, it was the colour, the vivid colours. It was the technicolor of colours that were on the face, like the colour of the face.
The whole perception of
whole person. And then I was seeing that dim sparkle of light whizzing around the body like a circular spiral, just going around the person. But it was
beautiful.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
Amazing. He must have used that to transport in perhaps to there.
Yeah.
Or he must have travelled through in that way from wherever he is or where they are. Yeah.
I didn't feel, for me, I didn't feel scared. I didn't feel anxious or nervous or anything like that. I remember that morning when I woke up, I'm like, did I just experience that? And,
exactly.
I just remember saying, I'm thinking, so did I experience, did that really happen? Why did I go back to sleep? Why did I go back to sleep?
Just wait. Yeah.
I could have stayed up. I could have.
Yeah, for sure.
I could have stayed up and
but like you said, maybe just the bit of the surprise and the bit of his energy being so electric that perhaps our physical body sometimes will shut down on that and just let go a little bit, sleep or something. But that sounds very much that's exactly when you have OBEs and for those that don't understand, you get to meet speak to those sort of things, other being experiences. That's exactly what it's like. It's very physical. You're awake. You're in control. And when you see things, whether it's your room or a being or a visitor or whatever else it may be, or if you go somewhere, it's extremely vivid and technicolor. Our world apparently is quite dull and light, skylight, sunlight, colors. But when you step out of your body, so you've definitely come out physically. So as you've come, it's real. So you've stepped out into reality, and you're physically awake and everything. Your body would look back. You probably would see yourself asleep. But so when that happens, that is true. You do see everything in absolute technicolor. It's all super heightened because from here, outside of here, where our construct or outside the veil is apparently beyond belief. Like it is so beautiful. So hey Joshy, so that's true. that I do know of. So I reckon, just by listening to you, I'm going, it sounds to me that you're physically hopping out of your body in reality, awake. So it's not dream state.
Yeah.
Because at the moment I'm studying OBE, and so I know what happens when you hop out. I know what happens when you get out of your physical body and you're awake and you're in reality and you're really there. So, and then you're in control of that. So it's a bit of a shame you didn't get a chance to spend a bit more time. He might have taken you somewhere. He might have walked around, had a chat. It's a bit of a shame.
He
Yeah.
could have. He could have. Maybe I just don't remember it. You know what I mean? I just
Yeah,
don't.
possibly. Yeah, maybe you
Possibly I've
don't.
had an experience, but
Yeah, true.
still can't remember it.
Yeah. Yeah, that can happen.
And I remember recently I was in meditation and I was connecting with that sight that I had with that star being and trying to connect with that person, with that being, I should say. And all of a sudden knocked out for 5 minutes, and I've woken back up.
Okay.
I just fell asleep.
Yeah.
It's like to me it feels like the energy is probably that strong that it's just or they're sending a signal back, and I'm just like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
It takes a while. It takes a lot of energy to stay consciously awake out of the body. Yeah. It's just practice, basically. Everyone does it. It is every single human being does it every night, but not everyone is in control of that. So sometimes they'll go just into astral, into dream state. But we do it every night, and it's learning. Eventually, maybe you should be giving it a bit of more practice. Maybe you should be trying to consciously wake up and do that again, because there's obviously something going on there that you're experiencing. There must have been a heck of a lot more that happened that you didn't bring back and remember because you woke up too fast. So, which is quite common. People don't always remember, but yeah, you can learn to though.
Yeah.
It's something you can learn, especially as an empath.
I'm learning to, I'm learning to protect myself first and getting to that space where that my goal is to my main mission goal is to get closer and closer and is to experience more. But I wanting to make sure that I've got the groundwork done and you know what I mean? I want to do the work from the inside out type of thing.
Sure.
That makes any sense. So I want to make sure that
for sure.
I'm protected, having these experiences without any not to say interference, but without any other natural occurrence outside of myself. So I want to make sure that what I'm experiencing with these beings or with the star family, whatever you may want to call it, that I've witnessed it, I've experienced it, I can say yes, definitely. You know,
that's right. Well, the more you work on that, the more you work to that inside, which is correct, the more you work on releasing the fear, because on the other side, everything's neutral.
Yeah.
It's only us that has to learn to contain the fear of what we're seeing or what we're experiencing. And by releasing that fear, which is working on that piece of yourself all the time, healing all the trauma, that when you eventually are able to consciously hop out and do what you're doing, getting those experiences, you then are able to contain your space. So nothing bothers you. You know what I mean? So yeah, it just takes practice, takes a lot of work. So yeah, a lot of healing.
So those have been the two main close encounters that I had.
Yeah. No, you haven't had much at all, have you? Kind of boring. No, kidding.
But there's been more sightings, and I've had witnesses. So my partner's my partner's the type of person that he's very logical, very he needs proof of facts. He goes by, he needs proof of facts. He needs to.
Yeah, I'm a little bit like that.
Textbook stuff.
I get that. Yeah.
So there's been a few experiences where he's sort of freaked out, it's gone white, and he's gone back inside. And,
true. Okay.
Because
I'll pull back up.
So
damn.
One day, this would have been a winter. This is the middle of 2021. It was clouds.
So clothes on this time, obviously.
Yeah, clothes on. I was outside, looking at the sky, looking around, and in the where the clouds were, just directly above the cloud, because it was cloudy, but it was breaks in the night sky, so you can see behind the clouds and you can see the stars of light. But there was behind this cloud, or going behind this cloud, there was this massive craft. It would have been huge. I mean, it was. If I can see that much detail and that further up, it would have been massive. and I actually
Wow.
drew it what it looked like. I
Yep.
remember
Show us.
calling out my partner and going, "You need to see this. You need to see this. You need to see this. Come quickly." He
Yep.
came outside and we looked up, and I pointed to where I'm seeing it, and it was just massive circular craft. I'm seeing
Yep.
underneath it, and had all these lights, like big balls of light, like lights underneath the
Energy or
craft,
something. Yep.
and it was moving. It was like that sort of angle, so I can see underneath it, but it was moving
Right.
behind the cloud.
Yep.
It wasn't when it wasn't moving fast; it was moving slowly behind the cloud. As
Yep.
it was moving, it sort of disappeared behind the cloud, and then that would have been about a minute or two later.
Mm-hmm.
There was fog around the whole area. It was all foggy.
True.
It was all
Wow.
foggy, so it was like mist
Yep.
fog. So I think it realised that we've seen it. This is what I think it's
Okay.
happened. It realised that we've seen it. It's
Yep.
gone behind
Created
the cloud, and it's created
an
this fog
atmosphere.
mist. Yeah, so
Yep.
no one else can see it. And I
Wow.
actually drew what I saw, which is that sort of shape.
Oh, holy shit. Okay.
All these lights, it was multiple lights. That's part of the
Yeah.
whole there, and that's the cloud there. So it was going behind the cloud.
Gotcha. Yep.
It was actually quite. It was actually
Jeez
quite.
Louise.
And that was, to me, that was a physical craft. It wasn't a hologram.
That's full on physical. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
And for that to push that much fog or mist around our area.
Yeah, that quickly. It doesn't happen that we
Yeah.
don't get like that in Australia. It usually just rolls and really slow. It
Yeah.
doesn't just go whoosh. Yeah, no, not in our country.
And I
Not,
remember,
especially not the city anyway. Yeah.
and I remember him running in, and his face went white, and
Did
realised
he?
that he couldn't
Poor thing.
describe. It wasn't a plane. It wasn't a helicopter.
Nah, no way.
Seeing that much detail, that size,
Yeah, for sure.
he's realised.
Right.
Yeah.
So you only probably got to see even a quarter of it, maybe. Like it wasn't.
Yeah, it was like the angle was like that, and it was
sort
circle,
of moving like that, was it?
It was just moving like that, and it just went behind the cloud and just disappeared behind the
Just
cloud.
keep going. Oh,
And
yeah.
then all of a sudden, a couple of minutes later, the whole space mist and fog just came through.
Cheeky
I'm
buggers.
like, Mark, can you see this? Like, where's this fog coming from?
Yeah, exactly. So it doesn't happen, and not in Melbourne. I would have gone. I can see you. Too late. Too late. Way too late.
So
know who they were. Did you get an idea of anything? Did you feel anything with that too? Like was it an
I
electricity
didn't, because I think
Okay.
I didn't get any forms of energy through that.
Right.
But just it was just a sighting. It was spectacular. Seeing that was
Wow, it would have been amazing.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that's
just
huge.
I remember how big it was. It was if it was closer, it'd probably be the same size of ours, probably a whole street in diameter. So
okay, so she was a pretty big
because
craft.
there's so much detail. So for that being that high up behind the
that's
cloud,
right.
that size, yeah, it would have been huge.
Wow, goodness gracious! And again, you probably heard nothing, right? Like it was dead silent.
No sights.
Did you have because like I said, I'll share my story eventually when I've got time. But the one we had, none of the animal life registered. No dogs, birds, nothing.
No.
And we had a sound with ours. So
Yeah.
did you notice the animals? Maybe did you notice
no,
they nothing?
No,
No, nothing. Yeah.
It's like they've. I don't know what it is. It's like they're able to show us things or project things or physical behavior, and it doesn't affect. It doesn't. My dog's been inside the house the whole, and
so are ours.
Inside the house, she's not awake. She's asleep. She's not.
Yeah,
picking
that's
up
right.
on it.
No, ours didn't either.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, ours is funny. What's the animal life do?
Yeah, it's the. I guess it's the technology. It's the technology. It's the way they come through. If they're interdimensionally, the way they come through, either technologically, they mastered it. Over the years, over the periods of time. So I've seen more.
That's what I said to him.
This is last year.
Come on, Lou, you're going to have to come and have a chat, because we've been friends for that long, and I know pretty much most of his stories. And I said, you can't not come and share that with me. Like, I want people to know that this stuff is real and it's truly happening, and that's why I'm doing this, because other people have had all this. They don't talk about it. They don't share it. One is probably they've been frightened, or they've had something that wasn't good happen, and they feel that if they talk about it, they're going to get ridiculed or judged or locked away. And I think it's nice. There's a lot of people talking about the sort of stuff, doing very similar podcasts, and it's nice to see that now it's becoming more norm, so that people hand up a little easier sometimes, So yeah, okay, go on.
I feel I feel my personal perspective is that I feel that this is what they wanted. They didn't want like that. I don't think that they wanted to all of a sudden come down on the ship and then surprise them.
No, I think we probably shoot them out of the damn sky, knowing us human beings. We're going to do something nasty.
And I think that them doing this type of, showing themselves or making themselves known with individual people collectively, it would just people just be open to the idea and
for sure.
part of the norms. It'd be
I think so.
It might be such a shock to the system.
Yeah.
In saying that, in the past, a few years ago, when I have sightings, I will post it online or on a Facebook wall, that kind of thing, through a group or,
somebody is safe.
UFO groups or, that kind of thing. And then it'll be like a week later, I'm having I'm having like helicopters going around in circles around our suburb for like
we have the same.
Night. So whenever there's been a physical sighting, there's always been
little black ones.
Helicopter just circling, and I'm not talking 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night. It's like 11:30, 12:30, 1 o'clock at night, and they're just circling for an hour or two. They're just, and
they know them.
I'm not going to post on. I'm not going to post my experiences on certain groups because I don't know.
Stuff happens. People have had a knock on the door and all sorts of things, so you do got to be a little bit careful. Yeah. And
then I realised that the interactions that I've had with the star family, star beings, that kind of thing is my personal experience. Yeah. And it's something that they want to show me or for me to be part of. Yeah. And I'm going to treat it that way instead of being an open book. But in saying that, when I agreed, I'm happy to do the live with you today.
Yeah, but be very careful.
Yeah, I asked for confirmation from them, and I received confirmation in different ways from them to say that it's okay. You know what I mean? But they were sometimes said they were saying, do it from your perspective, your experience.
Yeah, keep it personally as how you experience that, rather than going too far in depth. So I agree with that. So I had to ask my lot, because I've been pushing since a year ago for me to do this. And I keep saying, I don't know, there's some stuff that even I've experienced that I don't want people to think I've lost my mind. So it's taken me 12 months to get to this point to actually create the podcast. And they would said a couple of months ago, they'd just been, come on, we people need to speak. So I know that they're kind of working their way towards something eventually that they have told me will be collective, not just one-on-one experiences. So I think this is part of it. And this is part of, they want me to come in gradually, baby steps, for people to share their experiences, because eventually humanity is going to experience something on a collective more than usual. So this is just their way, I think, of going, it's okay. Not all of us is polarity. So there's always both sides. So it's why we've got to be careful, especially on the internet. We don't know who's listening. But so we're doing our best to open up that doorway to help people to be comfortable. That's their role.
Recently, this year, when I say recently this year, I haven't seen them as much. I've seen them a few weeks ago in the sky as stars moving across and around. Showing me that you're there. I haven't had that I know of, maybe in my dream state or OB or whatever it might be. I probably have had interactions, but my focus this year is to connect with them through meditations and connect with them on a different level.
Same. More awake. Yeah.
Yeah.
More of a awake connection. So yeah, I'm doing the same.
And I always ask them, I want to be an ambassador. I want to be an ambassador. I want to work towards that. You know what I mean? But
Yeah. You're like me. Yeah. That's why we're doing this.
I want to, be part of that. But it is what it is.
It is what it is. That's right. That's who we are. That's why we're here. So, yeah, they had a moment there. Actually, people were even speaking of. They had a moment there where it got a little bit quiet, about 2 months or something like that. So they must have been busy doing other things. But I noticed that's coming again and again. So I've had the same. They're just like they're there, but they haven't been. Like every night, they'd wake me every night. So they must have given me a break or something, or they're just off doing other things off world and helping humanity. But yeah, so yeah, I've heard many stories, not all good stories from people, unfortunately. But so we're trying to. So I said the platform's open for people to share some of the stuff that is uncomfortable and some of the stuff that is beautiful, because that's how it is. That's what's happening for people. Not everyone is in a position of being blessed with beautiful experiences, and that's the reality. That's the reality. So yeah, and in a way, I think us talking openly about the ones we know that weren't so good is kind of my way of going, ha ha, we see you. We know what's going on. You can't hide anymore. So it's kind of a bit of that. That's why I'm doing it as well. So yeah, it sort of puts us in a bit of footing where we are more in control, you know what I mean, of our own energy. So yeah.
So there's just been more sightings over the years, the past few years. A lot of it, when they show me the craft going past, like gliding past, it's always it's been holographic. Another one that me and my partner witnessed. This was back in this is last year. I drew it again, so that's what it looked like. So it was a triangular shaped, and then the lights were there. So it was black, but then the orange and it's like an orange and maroon colored lights underneath. It was dim, so it wasn't bright. It was just like a holograph.
Okay.
And it was flying past us, and that was near the Orion's Belt, so near the Orion's Belt area.
Yep.
And to me, that's what.
What dates were that? Was what month or something?
2nd of the 4th, 2023.
So April. Wonder what was going on then. Interesting.
Mark thought it was a flock of birds, flock of birds, because the way it was triangular.
Yeah, why they were in like succession.
We'll see the wings flat. We'll be able to see all that. But it was just.
Okay. You see the whole shape of it.
Yeah. We saw the whole.
Also, he got to see this one as well again. So it was physical. Okay. Yeah. Wow.
I was actually looking near. I was near Orion's Belt, but I was looking near Sirius constellation. That's when they came through. That's when they projected that craft going past.
Okay. Nice.
That was quite low. Probably another 20 meters, 30, 40 meters above my home. Gliding past. But yeah, a lot of the for me, a lot of the contacts, like I said, started off far and they've gotten closer to my personal life.
Yeah, it looks like it in the last 12 months, especially.
Yeah. I've had dreams. I've seen a being in my dream. I've had dreams where they take it. To me, it feels like I've gone back into my primary school, the grounds of the primary school, and I'm looking up and I just see this light coming down on me. And I'm looking at myself as a third person, and then I woke up. Yeah. So I might have had contact since I was younger.
Yeah, I was going to say, you might have been definitely a contactee when you were younger. Most people are. They just don't always remember.
So I remember having those types of dreams. So, realizing that and having those experiences, it's made me believe that there's more obviously out there.
Has to be, because you're having physical experiences. It's not just you're having a dream or you just think this is going on. It's you're out in your backyard with your partner and he's even going, what the heck is that what I think it is? So you've got a witness, it's when you're on your own, how do you explain to people when you're on your own, this happened and you're awake and you're in your backyard, like with me with the dogs doing pee-pees. Dogs go on the toilet, what the, and you can't grab the neighbours and go, is anyone seeing what I'm seeing? Things like that. So, it's very, very unusual experience for sure. Wow. Interesting.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. All that for me, it's happened in the past about 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. Okay.
Most of the activity
Yeah.
has happened for
Okay.
that period, but that's when I started to open more, and that's when I'm becoming more within myself, and that's when I'm seeing more and experiencing more. So
Well, see, you're releasing the fear. This is what they're trying to teach you. This is what they've been teaching me over the last couple of years as well, is that to release the fear. So whether you're in physically awake and you've hopped out like you're doing, and you're in an experience where you're awake and you're conscious, or you're just in the backyard and it's happening, you're seeing it with your partner, they're teaching us to let go of that fear so that we can enjoy more, they can come more often, or they can have a better and bigger experience. So have you ever had any walk through your wall? Now we're going to get right out there. Where you're lying in bed, or you're just going to go to bed and like jazz, and you're thinking about, oh, what am I doing tomorrow? The usual things. Have you ever had that happen where they'll walk through an object? Or
no, I've had besides that experience that I had with being in my room, I've had lights just in my vision just open up, like sparkle just opened up. So it's like a break, like they're piercing through 3D, and that's like been blue or white and blue. That sort of
opened up in front of you,
sparkle, and then gone.
Gone. Okay.
I've had streams of like blue, like a stream of light going in front of me, just going, and
like
then
a beam.
Like a beam.
Yeah.
I've been in my backyard and one night, and I've seen this blue, I wouldn't say mist, it was more like a shadow or blue color, drop down into near the fence and then coming towards me.
Yeah.
And I've gone, like, panicked, and I've gone back inside because I wasn't expecting that.
Like you would, you're like, what the? I'm sorry, but that would fucking throw me. I'd be like,
this color coming towards you, and you're like, So I've gone back inside, ran back inside. I'm just like, okay, slowly appear. Don't
jump at me like a frog, like far out, for goodness sake. And do you reckon that they came down on a beam? Did they? Did they come down?
No, I just seen the color, like in my vision. I just seen like a blue stream, like a beam.
Yep.
Right, but it's like
they've come from the ship.
Yeah, just come down into the room, and then they've gone. But I don't see a figure. I just see the color, the blue color. I've seen like the same sort of color, or different, maybe a different color. Could be purple, white, blue.
Yeah, exactly.
Just move up and gone. In my room.
So they've jumped down, jumped up.
Have they gone out or jumped?
Did they speak to you? Did they say, "How you going, Andrew?" Like did they?
No,
did you hear anything?
Right, but I think they're making themselves known that that they're around. I don't hear them communicating with me. I just see it. I just see the colours or the movement of when someone's in my room and they've gone, or in my house. Like I said, they open up like a sparkle, and then they
just goes whoosh, gone.
Or that stream they've gone, they dropped in, and then I don't see anything. I just see the colour streaming down in.
Okay, and then they're gone.
Or seeing colour just fly up from near the wall, just go up, and then gone.
That might change. So the more they not training, but more they're getting you used to the experiences, you may eventually get more solid, like at the fence, and then you might eventually start. They might start hearing them internally, because most of it's telepathy. Sometimes with some of the experiences I have, they will yell at me, and I will hear them like I'm talking to you. They just can hear the voice in the room. So I think the more that you accept that it's going on and understand that you're part of something, whether you can understand or not, I can't explain it, doesn't really matter, the fact it's happening. And they eventually, as you learn to let go and realize that it's right in front of you, and take a breath and things like that, they eventually become a little bit stronger. So, people have them, like you did, they'll have them enter into the rooms, or they'll have, be out walking the dog, and next minute there's a damn craft right in front of you, and people then have abductee experiences and things like that. Goes further. Whatever. I've always said to them, they're going to come and get me. Let me pack first. So, girl don't go without a bit that she needs. Give me time, and then we'll talk. But because I've had them. I still do. I even had them last night. I'm there last night, and they're waving at me, and I'm on ship. I'm like, oh, okay, well, obviously we're doing something tonight. So I've had physical experiences too. So I know very well that the stories that people are telling me, hand on heart with what I've experienced through my life, including being an abductee, is that it's not something you make up. It's not something that's in your head. It's not a dream. It really does happen. When you have it and you're physically awake or you're physically aware, it's happening when you're conscious, not just having a nanny nap, then you know that something strange or lovely is going on. So I know, like I said, hand on heart, that this is real. For some reason, it's been really prolific the last 2 years. So I don't know if we're maybe more open to it, or it's just they're coming more often. I don't know. But there's a lot of physical contact happening more than usual than the last few years. So there seems to be a run on it. There's something going on worldwide. And there's a lot of, as Lady was saying before, there's a lot of stuff happening in Mexico now again and things like that. So it's going to be interesting to see where this goes. But they have told me a year or something ago, over a year ago, 2 years, that there will be some sort of phenomenal worldwide experience that can't be denied. So probably a bit like the Phoenix Lights. You'll get a few that'll deny and say that, it's rubbish, but like the Phoenix Lights, that was too big a craft, too big an event, seen by too many people in a major city to deny that. And it was on the news as well. They had on a news thing. It was on a news broadcast. So those things you can't deny. I've always said to them, don't be in a hurry, because we kind of got a lot of stuff going on in the world at the moment. It's not kind of nice, and I don't want anyone getting hurt when you come here, because we're a bit brutal. So you never know. But that's what people like us and others, whether it's good or bad experience, but that's what people like us are for. It's to open that doorway to let other people know that do have it and won't speak about it because they're too afraid to, that it's okay. There are people that will believe you, and there are people that understand what you're going through. And don't be afraid to share it with people like us, because we are the physical proof that this stuff happens. So it's interesting.
It's probably the fear of ridicule. It's probably the fear of
sure.
ridicule. And
absolute fear of ridicule.
And judgment and all that. My heart goes out to the people that have had a negative experience or experience where they felt uncomfortable, because I wouldn't imagine what it would be like for the people that have gone through that.
It's not very nice. No, I've been through that only once, thank goodness, that I remember. But it wasn't nice.
Yeah.
But looking back now, because of where I am spiritually and how I'm a channel, and it's for me, it's all the time. I don't have that anymore because I'm more in control. So I don't have the fear, and I don't know what's going on inside my personality anymore. So I'm more awake to it. Yeah. So no matter what I see, to me, it's just second nature. Where years back, so it was probably, gosh, I don't even know, maybe 15 or 17 years ago. I can't even remember. So long ago, I'd have to go and write it down. But back then, I knew I was spiritual. I knew I had an ability, psychic, empath, whatever you want to call me, intuitive. But back then, I wasn't where I am now. I wasn't in channel. I wasn't a channel. So back then, I didn't understand. I knew what it was. I'd watched enough documentaries, enough stories, heard other people. But at that time, I didn't know what to do with that, because it wasn't a pleasant experience. It was very, very real for me. So lucky for me, it didn't go on for long.
Yeah.
So when people say that the reason they don't want to talk about some things, because one, it brings it back up, and it's terrifying for a lot of people. So it unnerves them, and I don't ever want people to think that or dismiss that piece of their experience, because you know, a lot of people, even normal people or spiritual people, there's always the nice side of everything. And that's wonderful. I hope that's all people ever have. But unfortunately, there is a side of to do with UFOs and beings and etc. that isn't pleasant.
Yeah.
And people that have been through stuff like that, like I had, and way worse, need to understand that it's okay that they've been through that they're not crazy. That did happen, and not everyone. There's people like us that will not refuse you and judge you and make you feel bad for that. So, because of how hard it is for people to live with that. If you're not, see, lucky for me, I've got a very strong personality, so I could handle that. But there's a lot of people aren't like myself. People that aren't intuitive or awake or spiritual, have a gift or a channel, all that jazz, that aren't strong like that. They're just normal everyday people. So for them, it is terrifying, and they do not handle it well. That's why they don't speak of it. So yeah. Anyway, I wish everything was rosies and fluffies, but it isn't. It just isn't. So, yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. So is there anything else you want to share? Like, not that you've, like I said before, it's not that you've been through much. You're kind of boring, and I'm just like, yeah, that's not much. Like, few crafts, few visits.
Well, like I said, my focus for me, this period of my life is to build a connection with the experiences that I had and have a connection with them on a deeper
crazy
level.
if you don't, in a way. I don't like word crazy, but you know, you can't to go through life and have that much happen in that short period of time. That is kind of a gift, isn't it? Like there's so many people that would just beg to get one opportunity to experience something unusual, a sighting or seeing something or hearing something and things like that. So it's kind of, that part of it is a special thing. It's a special thing to have. So I understand that.
It's almost like it's like they choose. I can't really speak for them or anything like that, but it's like they know your soul. They know.
They do.
You.
They know.
They don't see the exterior. They don't see your personality.
No, they don't. They don't. No.
And that's what maybe that's what they're drawn to. I don't know. I'm only surmising.
It varies so much. Yeah, look, it varies so much. You just can't say it's one or the other. That's the hard part of it. A lot of the times they're contacting people that have agreed to things, have given a contractual agreement to experience. Sometimes it's like us, where it's like we know that we're not from here. We know we are different, and our experiences with them is like going back to your family and being with who your family really are and things like that. Yeah, it's so varied. But a lot of the time, it's people eventually figure out and find out that when they have these experiences, that's very familiar. So they're almost like, I feel like I know them, or I've seen them before, or I was really relaxed and quite calm with my experience. I felt like they made me feel like it was okay and things like that. Sometimes that happens in not nice circumstances. They put you into a consciousness sleep, things like that, for the wrong reasons, but a lot of the time it isn't like that. So yeah, a lot of it's very familiar. A lot of people that I've spoken to that eventually will come on and speak as well. They always say that they just feel like it feels like home for me. I feel like when I'm with them, the love they have for me is universal. It's so big and it's so beautiful. So yeah, me too. So it's definitely family for me. I'm lucky. The only one experience wasn't, but the other one was. All rest of it is, even last night. So yeah, when you see them on a craft laughing at you and waving, you've got a fair idea that you know them, because they're like, "How you going?" You know, things like that. So yeah, it's like cheeky buggers. But yeah, so it's a bizarre world we live in. People like I said, normal people have these experiences. You don't always have to be spiritually minded or have a belief. You know what I mean? It's happened worldwide to people that, as you know, Farmer Brown. I've seen one with Farmer Brown where he's gone, I believe in none of it. He's a Christian. I'm a religious man. I believe in none of this. And he goes out and here they are in his paddock, you know, as large as life, physically in front of him. So we know that there's no way that somebody like that would make it up either, because they're too physical, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, they can come and get us. We'll have a party. We'll bring snackies. We'll bring some snackies. Oh my God!
What the future's gonna hold. How they'll make themselves known.
Yeah. I think so. I think there's going to be a time that I think there's enough people asking for help. So I think consciously as a species, if you want to call us that, as a planet, I think because of the hardships that we've gone through for so long, there's enough people putting the signal out for help from something else. Kindly, not the other, to help people evolve and to find more love. I think that's, as far as I know, it's two polarities always, but the one we're talking about, we won't talk about the other at the moment, the one we're talking about, their absolute want is for us to evolve to where they got to, which is they live in unity, love, understanding, unconditional. They've evolved past some of the irregular or unbalanced emotions that we carry. So their love of us is ginormous. They want so much for us to grow and be happy and not be in a consciousness like we're in now, which is quite brutal sometimes. So, yeah. So bless them for that. I keep saying to them, sure you want to sign on for humanity? Like, it's quite a hard job. But here we are. So, well, thanking you, Andrew Coutet, for coming in and opening up, and because it's a big deal to show that piece of yourself. Not everyone is able to do that. They don't feel comfortable. So it's a big deal. So thank you for opening your heart and giving people an idea of insight of not just who you are, but what you've experienced and how it is very real. You'll help a lot of people. My ideal is with this sort of podcast is to help other people heal and to open up to the concept of what they experience is okay, that it's okay. And there's heaps of us that have the same thing. Some of us all the time and don't get any sleep, like constant. I said to him, I might have to put up a shield on that wall to stop you lot from knocking, you know what I mean? So a girl can sleep. So I will talk about all my stuff eventually when I get time. I've had physical, I've had a abduction. I have things going on all the time, awake and things like that. So, and hopefully eventually out of body like you're having. I'd like to, well, I know I do that anyway, but I'd like to be more, like you said, you want to be more conscious of what's happening so you can stay there longer and experience it. So I'm working away towards that too. So I'm a busy girl. Alrighty.
All right. No, thank you. Thanks for having me on and allowing me to.
You're welcome.
What I've witnessed and experienced.
Yeah. And if you have any more, let us know. You can come in and share again. And let us know if there's anything. So before we go, is there now everyone gets this opportunity and you can say no. Is there anything you'd like to channel from them or speak of? Is there anything they'd like to share today with everybody in any way?
I haven't asked them for anything, but the main message, the main theme I was feeling and getting was them saying just express what you've experienced. That's all.
Yep. That's all.
Be open and express that. They wanted me to
express who you are.
Express that. Express the experience. Express. They said not to focus on the technology and all that kind of stuff, but the connection that you have.
Keep the connection itself. Yeah.
Yeah, and experience and share the connection that you have with them.
Yeah. To help other people with their connection, because everyone else, there's some people that are just beginning to experience this, and there's even people who've been out this all their life, and sometimes just hearing someone else and seeing someone else's connection helps them to open up more and helps with their abilities. So that's what it's all about. But I always offer anyone who's a channel or has such a deep connection with star beings, galactic beings, whether it's UFOs, you can call it whatever you wish, they always get an opportunity at the end if they want to channel or do something beforehand for somebody or for humanity as a message. So it's a yes or no. I take either way. It doesn't faze me at all. Alrighty, okay.
Yep. Unless you want to, unless there's a bit of light language, maybe.
Could be.
Yeah.
I just feel there's a little something. That's why I'm just asking, but it's free will, so you can choose yay or nay. To let people know that don't understand what we're talking about, or will watch the replay later. Get a lot of people watch it later. Light language is consciously or telepathy in some way, where they communicate the way they speak. So we speak a language, but they also speak a language in the universe as well. And each different species or being or star being, UFO, what do we call them? I don't even like that word UFO so much, really don't like it. But anyway, or UAP, whatever they call it. There's a lot of them that speak a certain language, and it's spoken through consciously as vibration. And there's a lot of people that have contact with them that speak a language of certain beings. So you are Syrian, as we are aware, but you also have a lot of Arcturian in your light language, which is light language, and maybe even tweak of dragon, depends on the day. So most of the ones that are here, for those that don't understand, there's so many, like we don't even know the half of them, like there's big trillions of them. We have a Syrian, Arcturian, Lyran, Andromedan, who have I missed? Pleiadian. Have I missed anybody? Come on, help a girl. There's a range that actually work very close with our planet, our universe, which is a lot of the vessels that people see are usually coming from those handful of species. There's many that go outside of that, but the main ones that hover around here are those. So Andrew is Syrian with a tinge of, I know Arcturians work a lot with me as well, but they do seem to work with you a lot. I think they're one of the main ones that work with everybody, especially when it comes to light language. I've noticed a lot of people's communication with star beings, their light language quite often, their first one is Arcturian for some reason, and then it goes from there. And I always thought Arcturian might be one of the harder ones, but it's not. It's quite beautiful. So yeah, you can, floor is yours. You can offer whatever you want really and see what happens. Or hold space. The highest vibration of light for the highest good.
Ishalai kiana ora fiala iana. Kura ishna kiana ora shanana iana. E kora ishnala. E kiana ora. Ishnala e kiana otushna e kiana. E kuna e kiana ora. Oriana kiana ushnalinia. O kiana rishtaliana. Akiana ora ishla ikiana ora. Ikiana ora ishala iana ora. Kura shala iana. Ora ikiana ushana. O kiana ikiana ora. Ushala. You just feel the energy run through the crown.
Yeah, I got crown as well. Through the chest.
Then down into the feet.
Okay. So it might be still running.
Yeah, I can feel the head tingling still around here.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got amazing light language, Mia. It's very strong. So I said sometimes he crosses, he sounds very Arcturian, but he crosses into a couple of different ones. And that's why he's so powerful. Such a powerful little man.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, my friend.
Heart space before I did it. So, yeah.
Yeah. I definitely felt it in my head and down into my chest. Yeah. So, and do you have any idea what they might have, what they might have shared, or is it just? I think it's just a feeling. I think it's just running through the body a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. I just I was able to just verbalize the energy that comes through. And
then allow it to channel.
I know that one of the words is heart space or heart.
Okay.
I'm translating into. Yeah, but it's directly from, and then from the heart I speak, you know.
Heart speak is very important.
Yeah.
Very important. All right, my friend, thank you very much. Much love to you and your team. Thank you, everybody, for coming in. And we will do a separation once we're off the live to release the energy. So now, anybody that you can go onto my page, Marantha O'Rourke. The Beyond the Stars information is there of what I'm doing, what this podcast is about. It also goes into explaining that if anybody has UFO or abductee, physical, non-physical experiences, spiritual experiences, galactic, extraterrestrial, whatever it may be, you're more than welcome to message me through Facebook Messenger. Everyone gets screened. I will screen, so you can share either video chat, send the message through video, voice video, or just type it up, whatever you want to do in the messenger. And let me know perhaps just briefly what you might have experienced or what you've gone through, who you are. And the reason I screen everybody is because I don't want people coming on here that go so deep down the rabbit hole they might frighten or upset people too much. We may go a little bit into some of those places, but I don't want to go so deep that we unsettle people, because that's not what we're here to do. And some stories, even a bit like mine, might be a little bit too much for people to handle. So I have to screen everybody, and mainly because I don't know who you are and I don't know what you've been through, so I have to know. So don't take it personal if I say yes to you or no to you or refuse you. There'll be something within there I feel is not for the podcast. That's all. It's got nothing to do with you personally, but you're more than welcome to contact me, Facebook Messenger, and send me a little brief idea of who you are and what your experience is, and I'll see if you're people I'm looking forward to come on and chat about that and share. So, alrighty. Okay, Andrew, thank you, my love, and we'll talk to you soon.